I think they're disappointed in what happened in the second half. First half was fine. We played good defense. We had a pass rush. We took the ball away from them. Second half, we had a good drive going at the top of the third quarter and then ended up fumbling the football and then didn't generate any offense to speak of after that. And defensively, we just didn't make any plays, rushing the passer in the second half or intercepting or, knocking balls down. The ball was up there, and it seemed like they were coming down with all of them. And we got to play better defense and put two halves together. We haven't done well in the second half in our last three ball games.
Coach Shula and most of the other staff, I think all the other staff, must have thought something was there, or else they wouldn't have kept me around. I've always felt that whenever I'm in the ball game, I want to do the job, and I've always had a strong feeling that if I'm at the fullback position, I don't want to let the fullback position, down. I want to be productive. I want to be contributory to the offense. We've got kind of a fullback offense if you think about it. And, if we're not carrying the ball, then we're leading a lot of the plays, and it's an important position. I was pleased. I felt like I held the position up, with Norm and Leroy, bumped up a little bit, and that's really what my role is, to help any way I can.
Well, Tony, what you have to do is to try to understand what's happening. Why can't you continue to function in the second half the way that you did in the first? And we know in Baltimore we hurt ourselves by a couple of fumbles and an interception in the second half and gave them good field position, and our defense wasn't able to hold people out when we had the opportunity. And for this second week in a row, defensively, we made a couple of big plays, but still we didn't do a good job of pass defense, the kind that you're going to have to do if you get to where you want to go. And each and every week we got to get better, because down the line we're going to be playing some people that are going to cash in on all the opportunities.
The big concern around the Dolphins training camp this week, besides Seattle, is the fact that Don Shula's offense has not been able to generate any consistency in the second half for the past 3 weeks. In the first of a two-part interview, Dolphins center Jim Langer and I tried to find the answer to this most puzzling question.
I'm beginning to think it's just a matter of maybe it's coincidence for 3 weeks in a row. I think it's just a situation where it's a funny thing to explain, but for 3 weeks in a row we've had this situation where we get a big lead, and surprisingly, it seems that the lead is coming fairly easy. Everything seems to be working so smooth, it's unbelievable. And then we're making a mistake that gives the other team a chance to feel they can win it. And, of course, as the game goes on and a team gets to the idea that they can win the ball game, their momentum builds in a hurry, and we just haven't been able to stop that and capitalize ourselves. And I don't think it's something we should push the big red button on. I think it'll just keep playing ball, keep working, and I think it'll take care of itself.
Tonight, Langer will give his solution to the problem. Tony Segretto, Channel 4 Sports.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. It's... all of us ball players are hams. We kind of like to, especially offensive backs, you like to see your name in the paper in a positive note, and you like to feel like that everybody around the community thinks that you contributed to the football team, especially as long as the coaches know that's really the bottom line. But you'd like your neighbor to walk out and say, hey, you played a pretty good game, instead of them coming out and saying, my one neighbor on the one side is an old football coach. He knows what he's talking about, so I can't really argue with him either. So if I have a bad game, I usually hear about it.
Dolphins center Jim Langer feels Miami's offensive woes in the second half the past 3 weeks is merely coincidence. Still, he thinks there is a solution.
I think the biggest thing we can do is really let it eat on us. I think we just have to go out each week and try not to think about what happened the week before and play the game as it unfolds. If we just go out and forget about it and try not to make a big deal out of it and just relax and play ball, everything will happen the way it should. But we're playing good ball, and it's just unfortunate that with a record of 4-1, there's still negative things being brought up, but that's the way it is in Miami. I know Green Bay would give their left arm to be 4-1, right, and I don't think you'd hear many complaints about it.
Does it bother you?
Yeah, I understand that that's sports. And that's the press, and that's the people. I mean, they pay their money to see the games, and that's the way it is. But it does, I know the situations in other stadiums and other towns where people are dying to get a winner, and this is a winning ball club. It's a winning attitude. The guys are working hard. They're great coaches, and it's a great team. And still, unless it's 52-0, 17-0, we're not a success.
The second half will no doubt be on everyone's mind this Sunday in the Orange Bowl. So with that in mind, look for a complete Miami victory. In other words, 2 halves of consistent football. Tony Segreto, Channel 4 Sports.
The Baltimore Colts dominated the first quarter, running 26 plays to the Chiefs' 4, and outgaining Kansas City 151 yards to -6 and scoring 14 points on 2 one-yard plunges by Ron Lee and Don McCauley. The Chiefs scored a touchdown in the second quarter, but the Colt defense shut them out the rest of the way in holding on to a 17-6 victory. A trick play lifted the Vikings to a 22-16 win over the Bears in overtime. Safety Paul Krause passed 11 yards to Stu Voigt for a touchdown on a fake field goal, and that kept Minnesota atop the NFC Central Division. The Dallas Cowboys opened a 2-game bulge in the NFC East with a 34-16 win over the Redskins. This 59-yard touchdown pass from Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson broke open a close game early in the fourth quarter and lifted the Cowboys to their victory. And the Buffalo Bills needed only this 30-yard Neil O'Donohue field goal in the second quarter to beat Atlanta 3-0 for their first win of the year. O.J. Simpson rushed for 138 yards to become only the second man in history to surpass the 10,000-yard mark.